Hey everyone. So I think it's about time that I did this. I'm going to rank every single mainline Mario game. So here's the deal. It's a little bit of a disclaimer. I have picked out all of the games that I think, or I am pretty sure, are considered mainline games. Google and Nintendo fans are a little iffy on what's considered a mainline game. So to be completely clear here, to be considered mainline in this list, it needs to be an original game, no remakes. So we're not getting any Mario All Stars or 64 DS or any of that stuff, or the GBA, the Mario Advance series. None of those. And you have to be able to play as Mario in the game. So no Yoshi's Island, because that's specifically a Yoshi game. No New Super Luigi U. None of that. So, without further ado, this is going to be a long list, probably a long video. So, let's just get straight to it. So, at last place, at number 21, this comes as a surprise to absolutely nobody. I have The Lost Levels. This is the only game on this entire list that I would just say is just completely bad, in my opinion. My goodness. So, the original Super Mario Bros. Is already a pretty difficult game. But Nintendo said, no, this isn't difficult enough. And then they made this game just almost impossible for the average player. Like, you'd have to be very used to the original Super Mario Bros. And the controls to be able to be skilled at this game, which I am not. I'm not that great at the original Super Mario Bros. I still haven't beaten the original Super Mario Bros. I get stuck at World 8 the whole time. But, the Lost Levels, I haven't even. I'm not. This is one of those Mario games. I want to be able to one day beat every single Mario game. This is the one exception. I'm never going to beat the Lost Levels. I'm not putting myself through that torture. All of the levels, the level design's just bad. Some of the levels, I think it was Nathaniel Bandy just said it's a lot of just bad Mario Maker levels, is what this is. You have to use enemies as platforms to get across huge gaps and stuff, and it's just the whole game's just kind of a mess. And on top of that, it looks almost identical to the first Super Mario Bros. It does almost nothing as a sequel to differentiate itself from the original. All the music is the same. Most of the graphics are the same, aside from like the ground and the clouds and bushes and stuff. Everything else looks identical. So yeah, The Lost Levels is probably my least played Mario game because of just how irritating it is. That's the first game. This could just be a skill level on my part, but that's the first game where I've died more than once in the very first level. That's the only Mario game that I've dealt with dying in the first level that many times on my first playthrough. So yeah. So next up at number 20 we have Super Mario Run. Here's the deal. I love the idea of a mobile Super Mario game. I love the way that they executed it and how you have to tap the screen to jump and Mario just runs automatically. And I understand that they had to make you pay for some stuff because it's Nintendo, they have to make money. But like 90% of this game is behind a paywall and I can't get behind that. I'm not spending money on a mobile game, which I mean, I know that's just me, but I'm not spending money on a mobile game even if it's a Mario mobile game. So I only have just like access to a few levels and the Remix 10 and stuff and Toad Rally. That's all I can do without paying for something. So it's just without having to pay for something and being locked out of so much of the game. And again, I completely get it. Some people are not bothered by the fact that you have to pay for stuff. Because again, it's a Nintendo game. You would expect to have to pay for things. I completely understand that. Just me personally, I'm not spending money on a mobile game, and then for it to lock me out of so much of the game by not spending money on it, I just don't like it. So yeah, Super Mario Run. I love the idea of the game. Not a big fan of the execution. Next up at number 19, we have Super Mario Land. So this game, I love it, but I also can't ignore its flaws. Now, yes, this game was extremely revolutionary when it came out. It was the first ever mobile like portable Mario game ever made, and it's still like it's to the same, somewhat the same quality as the original Super Mario Bros. And the Lost Levels. And the music in this game is like some of my best in the whole series, some of my favorite in the whole series. I love Super Mario Land's music, but it's only 12 levels. It takes you like 30 to 40 minutes to just play straight through it. It and it's just it hasn't aged very well in my opinion. It hasn't aged. It's like we'll get to with the game after this. It's kind of aged like spoiled milk in my opinion. But again, it's a revolutionary game. It was the first ever portable Mario game, and I think they did pretty good for what they did and the hardware that they had to work with. But especially considering its sequel that we'll get to later, I feel like this game could have been so much more. So next up at number 18, we have the original Super Mario Bros. Now I'm not going to go into all the detail of this game. Saved video games in the 1980s, saved Nintendo, the video game crash of the 1980s. Everybody knows that story. I'm just looking at this game from an objective standpoint, and it's a great game. It has a lot of content, and it worked well with the hardware that it was on. But it's another game that I think just hasn't aged very well. Uh, I mean, it's a classic. I love it to death. I'll never ever hate on this game, but it hasn't aged very well. I'm not a fan, which I mean, I know they again had to work with the hardware. I'm not a fan of the fact that if you have a fire flower and you get hit, you go all the way back to being small Mario. Then again, I grew up on the new Super Mario Bros. Games, and so I was used to that formula of losing a power up and not the original. But but yeah, the original Super Mario Bros. It's a classic. I love it. Hasn't aged super well, but I'd say it's aged better than Super Mario Land, even taking in all of the like objectives of the hardware that they were released on and everything. So next up at number 17, this is a controversial one. Super Mario 3D World. I love this game. I didn't ever play this game until I got a Switch, and when I got a Switch, it was great. And I loved it. I love playing that version of the game, but uh I haven't been a big fan of these calling it a 3D Mario game when it's really like a mix of a 3D and a 2D Mario game. And especially considering the time when this game came out and we were wanting a next big like 64 or Sunshine or Galaxy level 3D Mario game, and then Nintendo gives us this, it was just kind of like, okay, Nintendo. But it's a great game. It's just I just don't really like it quite as much as some of the other games. It's another one of my like least played Mario games. I mean, I've beaten the game like twice, but that's about all I've done. I've played it through twice and then that's it. So, it's a good game, but not my favorite. Next up at number 16, we have New Super Mario Bros. Wii. This is another controversial opinion. I love the new Super Mario Bros. Games. That's what I grew up on. I grew up on the DS one, I grew up on the Wii one, and then I kept getting them as the games came out. But New Super Mario Bros. Wii, as much as I love this game and as much as it's my childhood, it is my least favorite of the new Super Mario Bros. Series. It's the weakest. The levels were designed for multiplayer, which means they're just kind of big and empty most of the time. And especially if you're just playing single player, it's just kind of just boring. But it's a great game. It just again, I think it's the weakest out of all of the new Super Mario Bros. Games. I mean, I love the power ups introduced. I love the ice flower, the penguin suit, the helicopter suit is one of my favorite Mario power ups ever. I love the helicopter suit, but it's just kind of yeah. It just I feel like they could have done so much more considering the other mainline Mario games that came out on this same system. I feel like Nintendo could have done so much more to make it to differentiate it from the DS version and just to expand on the yes, we can do multiplayer now, but make it not be boring without the multiplayer. So next up at number 15, we have Super Mario 3D Land. Again, this game, a lot of people would say it's worse than World, and I can see why. The reason I put this game above 3D World is because I went a long time without playing like much Mario games or just video games in general. This game is what got me back into Nintendo, what got me back into video games, what got me back into Mario. So I love it for that. This game is, but again, it follows that formula of it's kind of 3D, but it's not really because you just take a straight path to get to the end. It's just kind of, it doesn't feel like a 3D game in that way. Like it's kind of like Super Mario 2D, 3D or something. It's just, but again, with this one and with 3D World, I didn't say this about 3D World, but with both of these games, the music is incredible. The controls are fine. The depth perception in both of these games, but especially in Mario 3D Land, the depth perception is not good. And there were a lot of times where I feel like I fell off just because I couldn't tell where I was in relation to where the ground is. But again, it's a game that I've spent hours on. It's a game that got me back into Mario after years of not playing it. So I love it for that. I thank it for that. So that's why it's higher up on the list than 3D World. So next up at number 14, we have Super Mario World. A lot of people would say that this is like their favorite or one of their favorites. And I love Super Mario World. I love the music. I love the controls. I love everything. The one thing I don't like is that, or two things I don't like, is that unlike in the other games where you slowly build up momentum, in Mario World, if you hit that run button, you're off like immediately. And I can't get to that. I can't get used to that control system of Mario just starts booking it as soon as you press the run button. And another thing is that Mario World, the original one, goes back to the formula of if you get hit with a fire flower or a cape, you go all the way back to being small Mario, which Mario Bros. 3 didn't have that formula. So it's weird that Nintendo took this step back with that. It's just, I don't know, that just never felt right to me. It was weird. Again, I love the visuals in this game. This game introduced Yoshi, which is awesome. Yoshi's amazing. Everybody loves Yoshi. But the music's incredible, but it's just the controls and the power up system, I feel like it's just kind of not great. But again, this game's a classic. Everybody loves it. I love it, but it's just not quite as I feel like it's not quite as good as it could have been compared to the other Mario games that had already been established at that point. So next up at number 13, we have Super Mario Sunshine. Here's the thing. I had a GameCube growing up. That was my childhood console. The only Mario game we had on that GameCube was Mario Party 7. So I didn't play Mario Sunshine until 3D All Stars came out. And I loved the game. But compared to the other two games that were on 3D All Stars and the other 3D Mario games that I had played up to that point in general, it's just kind of meh. I mean, it has so much of a gimmick focused on Flood, and I love the Flood gimmick. That's fine, but I feel like it almost hinders the Mario's moveset a little bit, not much, but a little bit. Now, yes, Flood allows you to do a lot of things that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise, but it's just kind of I don't know. It's just kind of a strange control set. Like they took out the long jump, which I really wasn't a fan of. Because if you ever see me playing a 3D Mario game, I'm doing long jumps all the time. I love long jumps. Now the dive that Mario has is a pretty cool move, but it's just kind of I don't know. It doesn't feel the same. And on top of that, this game I don't know if it was just my copy of 3D All Stars or what. This game is one of the buggiest Mario games I've ever had. So many times where I like glitched through a platform or something, or the camera wasn't cooperating with me, or whatever. This is like one of the buggiest Mario games, or just buggiest games in general that I've ever played. And I've played FNAF Security Breach. but uh, it's but if you take aside all of that, this is genuinely a good game. The music's incredible. Most of the shines are fine for what they are. The 100 coins is not fun to do. I refuse to do 100 coins in Sunshine. But yeah, it's overall it's just an okay Mario game overall. So next up at number 12, we have Super Mario Land 2. So this game is phenomenal just because of how much it expanded over what had already been established with Mario Land 1. And the fact that it came out on the same system. Mario Land 1 looks very primitive, like extremely primitive compared to Mario Land 2. Because Mario Land 2 is, I feel like, what Mario Land 1 should have been like. Which I get, there was a decent time gap in between these two games. But Mario Land 2, like, it has some of the Mario World move sets. You have the carrot, the super carrot, or whatever it's called, the rabbit power up, which is one of my favorites in general because you can just break the game with it. If you can button mash, you can just fly forever with the carrot. I love it. But the music again is incredible. It established Wario as a character, and Wario being the main villain in a Mario game is still just really cool to me because that's just not something you see every day. It's the only time we really saw anything like that. But and the game overall, I kind of like it. I mean, it's kind of like aggravating, but it's also cool at the same time. Is that this game is super easy until you get to the final level. I haven't been able to beat this game yet because of the final level. I've beaten all the levels, gotten all the coins to the door, gone in the level, and it just ramps up from 0 to 100. That final level is so difficult. It's long, and then you have the boss fight with Wario at the very end of it. And if you get a game over in that level, you lose all of the coins to the level door, which means you have to go back and kill all the bosses again. Which that part is just kind of like, okay, Nintendo, that's just filler. That's not anything worth doing. But yeah, that final level is just, oh, they ramped that up to a million with the difficulty. But I love this game. I've always loved this game ever since I first played it, and it's always going to be my favorite of the Game Boy Mario games. I mean, the two of them, the mainline ones. But so next up at number 11, this is kind of controversial that this one is this low, but this is just how I feel about it. We have Super Mario Bros. 3. This is not my favorite of the NES games, but it's my second favorite. This game did a lot right. You get the world map. You have a good power-up system where if you have a Fire Flower or a Tanuki and you get hit, you just go back to being Super Mario, not Small Mario. Yeah, that aggravates me with the other games. But it has an amazing power-up system. It introduces amazing power-ups, like you get the frog suit, the Tanuki suit, the Hammer Bros suit, and the Goomba shoe, which was only used in one level. But I love it, and I love that it made a comeback in Mario Maker. And I used way too many. I have way too many Mario Maker levels that I've made that use the Goomba shoe. But and the music again is incredible. The game in and of itself, not a single level. There's almost no levels in this game that are boring or aggravating. It's just pure Mario Nintendo fun. This game is so much fun. I love it to pieces, but just not quite as much as some of the other games that we'll be getting to in a minute. But yeah, Super Mario Bros. 3, it's a classic. It's a lot of people's favorite for a reason, and I see why, but some of these other games are just slightly better to me. So at number 10, we have New Super Mario Bros. 2. Now we're going to be getting into most of the New Super Mario Bros. Games kind of close to each other here because I will say they're very similar, but I still love them because of how similar they are. But New Super Mario Bros. 2 is probably the one that I've played the least of the New Super Mario Bros. Series. Not that I don't like it, I love it. That's why it's so high up on the list. I love the fact that this game focuses on collecting coins, which I know a lot of people is just kind of like, that's redundant. And yeah, it's redundant, but to me, collecting coins in a Mario game is so satisfying. And the fact this game focuses solely on that, and they introduced the gold flower, which lets you collect coins even more and turn things into coins. That's so cool. I love that power up, and that's the most powerful power up Mario's ever had. Let's just be honest. But but yeah, Super Mario Bros. New Super Mario Bros. 2 is a classic. Amazing music, even though a lot of it's recycled from New Super Mario Bros. Wii, if not all of it. But I like the arrangements of those songs in New Super Mario Bros. 2 better. Uh, but yeah, it's a classic, but it's not quite as good as its original, which we'll be getting to right now with number 9, New Super Mario Bros. My childhood Mario game, probably aside from the game that's at number 1, this is probably my most played Mario game. I took this every time there was a long car trip or something. I would be playing either this game or Mario Kart DS, but most of the time it was this game. Uh, it brought back 2D Mario after several years of not having any, and it did about the best it could do. Mario has some of his move sets from the 3D games, like ground pounds and uh, wall kicks and stuff like that. We have new power ups like the Mega Mushroom, which is kind of gimmicky. Yeah, we have the Mini Mushroom now, and my favorite Mario power up ever. No matter what anybody tells me, this will always be my favorite Mario power up. We get the blue shell. I love the blue shell. I would always go out of my way to find like the red floating question blocks or a mushroom house to try and get a blue shell because I love the blue shell so much. I still love it. But I just loved rolling through every level as a Koopa shell, trying to see how far I could make it without getting out of the shell. It was, oh my gosh, so much nostalgia attached to this game, so many memories attached to this game. And of course, the little Easter egg that if you hold down L and R when clicking on a file, you get to play as Luigi, which I didn't know as a kid, but now I know as an adult. And so now I'm always rocking Luigi with this. And of course, you get the mini games, which most of them are recycled from Mario 64 DS, but I didn't own Mario 64 DS as a kid, so I thought the mini games were exclusive to this game. But yeah, I love this game to pieces. It's my childhood. I'll always have a soft spot for it, and I'll almost never say anything negative about it. But yeah, so next up at number 8, we have Super Mario Bros. 2. A lot of people are wondering why in the world I put the Doki Doki Panic reskin this close to the top, but the reason is this is the most fun NES game out of all of them to me, but more so the GBA remake of this game was the first Mario game and the first video game I ever played. And when I got an NSO account and was able to play NES games on my Switch, and I finally got to play the NES version, it was, I mean, it's not quite as good as the GBA version because, in my opinion, just because the graphics in the GBA one are better, you get voice acting in the GBA one, but it's still the same game that I loved and remembered, and the music in this game, of course, I say this about it pretty much all the games. Mario has amazing music, but the music in this game especially is amazing. I love the fact that you can play as multiple different characters. It's established Luigi more so as his own character with his own move set. Uh, and it's just a fun time. This game's amazing. It established my favorite Mario villain ever, the Shy Guy. That I love Shy Guys. I don't know what it is about them. If it's just because of how mysterious they are or how weird they are. I love Shy Guys, and this game introduced Shy Guys. But yeah, so this is my favorite of the NES games. But it's time to move on with number 7, Bowser's Fury. So Mario 3D World was fairly low on the list. Bowser's Fury is what I think Mario 3D World should have been to begin with, but also should have been bigger than what Bowser's Fury is. Bowser's Fury is one of my favorite 3D Mario games. The only reason it's lower is because of how small it is. And I understand it's mainly just meant as a side game for the Switch version of 3D World, but I'm hoping that the next 3D Mario game takes Bowser's Fury's formula, or is Odyssey 2. Either one of those. But just to have this giant open world that you can just go from each level in and out with ease, but just make it bigger. And maybe not have Bowser attacking every 3 minutes, because that's the one flaw I have with this game is how frequently Bowser attacks and how long it takes him to go away, because I don't want to have to fight Bowser every time he comes and go through some of the slow loading screens every time you defeat him. But I'm also not buying the amiibo to make him appear when I want to or leave when I want to. I just, especially later in the game, he just kind of comes and he stays. And it's like every time he comes and starts attacking, you feel like you have to fight him to get him to go away so that you can get back to doing what you were doing. So that's my one complaint about Bowser's Fury. Everything else, Bowser's Fury is amazing. Again, it's super short because it was just meant as a side game, but I feel like if this game was bigger, it'd be even better. But it's already amazing as what it is. So next up, we have my favorite of the new Super Mario Bros. Series, which is controversial because it's a lot of people's least favorite of the new Super Mario Bros. Series. We have New Super Mario Bros. U. So I love this game. I understand that at this point, the new Super Mario Bros. Series was redundant and everybody was sick of it and nobody wanted anything to do with it. But I'm just gonna have to disagree with that because I love this game so much. I love the power ups in this game. The squirrel suit is incredible. The super acorn, but the levels are amazing. It spawned off New Super Luigi U, which is just a harder version of this game with shorter levels and everything. But oh my gosh, this I love this game. The music again is incredible. I love that it goes back to Super Mario World's formula of just the world map being this giant thing that's all connected instead of having to travel to the next world. You just you leave world 1 and you immediately walk over to world 2. Like it's I love that formula a little bit better than how it was in SMBDS or 2 or Wii. But but yeah, I love this game so much. I've beaten this game so many times. There have been multiple times where I just set aside a day to just play this game from start to end. And those are always super fun days. But this isn't my favorite 2D Mario game because my favorite 2D Mario game is number 5, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So, this game did what everybody wanted it to do. It broke away from the new Super Mario Bros. Format. It did its own thing. It's the most unique 2D Mario game aside from maybe like Super Mario Bros. 2. But that's I don't count that because it was a reskin of a game that already existed. For a Mario game that was like its own thing from the very start, it's the most unique. I love the Wonder Flower aspect of it. I love the new power ups, the elephant suit, the bubble flower, the drill mushroom, all of those. Oh my gosh, I love this game so much. I've actually just finished doing another playthrough of it. That was my 4th playthrough of the game. But the music's incredible. It's the most like trippy Mario game because of the Wonder Flower and stuff, and I love it because of that. But yeah, it has rightfully earned its place as my favorite 2D Mario game. It's amazing. It has the most pristine controls out of any 2D Mario game. I think this is the perfect controls for a 2D Mario game. But yeah, Super Mario Bros. Wonder is my favorite of any 2D Mario game. So next up, we have number 4, a little bit of a controversial one, Super Mario Galaxy. Uh, Galaxy 1 and 2 are also childhood Mario games of mine. I love them. I actually wanted Galaxy 2 first because I didn't even know that Galaxy 1 existed, but I thought the Starship Mario was just the coolest thing. I was like, I want to walk around on the giant Mario head and do stuff or whatever. So I asked for Galaxy 2 first. Then I found out that the first one existed, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll get that too, because why not? And so I ended up spending more time on Galaxy 1. But Super Mario Galaxy has the best soundtrack out of any Mario game. When I've said the music is incredible on all the other games in this list, I wasn't lying. But when I say the music is incredible in Galaxy, the music is incredible in Galaxy. I probably don't need to even tell all of you this because if any of you have played Mario Galaxy or even just know of it, you know that this soundtrack is some of the best in gaming history. It's my personal favorite video game soundtrack ever. Gusty Garden Galaxy is enough to bring me to tears, and it has on multiple occasions. Rosalina's Observatory is such a nice, peaceful tune. The whole game has amazing music and amazing levels. Each level in this game having the formula that 64 had of you get a star and there's multiple stars in the levels, and of course, I mean, Sunshine had that formula too. But this is classic 3D Mario, and it does it almost to the greatest degree that it could have on the Wii. But but yeah, Mario Galaxy is amazing, but it's not. It's so it's so close, but to me, it's not quite as good as its sequel, number three, Super Mario Galaxy 2. Originally, I would have put this below Galaxy 1 because I just hadn't played it in forever because my Wii hasn't been hooked up for several years. But Galaxy 2, I just recently got the Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2 combo pack on the Switch, and I've gotten to play Galaxy 2 again, and this game is everything Galaxy 1 was and more. This game is incredible. The music, again, is incredible. I don't think I like the music in this game quite as much as the first game. They're very close. Both of these games, in every aspect, are so close to each other. But Galaxy 2 is just ever so slightly better. I love the levels here more. I love the Cloud Flower. The Cloud Flower is one of my favorite Mario power ups ever. I love it. Just getting to form your own platform to move throughout the level, it's incredible. But yeah, Galaxy 2, there's not much I can say about it that I haven't already said about Galaxy 1, but it's just everything but more. I love it so much. But next up at number 2, this was my favorite Mario game for a while until I got better at another Mario game that's in number 1. But at number 2, we have Super Mario Odyssey. I love this game. Again, it was my favorite Mario game, my favorite video game ever for the longest time. And it's still high up there. It's still my second favorite video game of all time. But Super Mario Odyssey is, oh my gosh. When this game came out, it was incredible. After we had 3D World and 3D Land and the new Super Mario Bros. Series were getting dried out, Odyssey came in and said, we're doing this and we're doing it right. Mario is back. We're going back to our roots in 64 and Sunshine and expanding on it so much. The graphics are incredible. The music's incredible. All of the references to Mario's history is so incredible. New Donk City as a huge homage to the classic days of the arcade Donkey Kong is incredible. The whole game is incredible. Pretty much all of Mario's outfits are a reference to something from Mario's history. And of course, you unlock the Mario 64 skin in the Mushroom Kingdom at the end of the game, which I was losing my mind over when I found out you could do that. But this is insane. The Jump Up Superstar is one of the best Mario songs ever. But it was glad to see Pauline back in like a main. It was good to see her in a mainline Mario game and to have such a major role, and just to see her have such a major role in general in any Mario game because I don't think she was really being used much up until this point, and she's like a major character in this game. But and Bowser is like more serious in here than he ever has. He almost marries Peach, almost, but Mario crashes the wedding. But he got so close to actually going through with all of his evil plans, and it's just incredible. The capture ability with Cappy, I love so much. Being able to beat all these Mario enemies that you'd usually just stomp on and keep going, you get to actually play as them with their own move sets and everything, and you get new Mario enemies that you can capture and use. It's incredible. And you can be a T-Rex in this game. How cool is that? An actual, just straight up T-Rex. It looks like it was ripped from Jurassic Park. I love it. This game as a whole is incredible. Like, as soon as you enter Cascade Kingdom and you hear that music, it's just like, oh yeah, we're doing this. Mario is back. And so this game, I feel like, kind of saved the Mario series in a place where it was becoming really dull and nobody really was getting into it that much anymore. But it's not quite as good as number one, Super Mario 64. I know a lot of you are probably thinking there's two sides to this. It's like, why in the world would you put that at number one? Or, yes, I completely agree, best game ever. I'm of the latter that thinks this game is just the best game ever. This put Mario into a completely new dimension. He had never been in 3D before, and the way that they executed it was perfect. All of these the classic music, the classic like glitches, the BLJs are so much fun. This game spawned so much like mysteries and stuff of like, oh, the floating Wario head in the hallway leading up to Bowser in the Fire Sea or whatever, or the L is real statue in the courtyard. So many mysteries that I was way into before I even ever played this game for the first time. Of course, none of them are real, but it's still fun to just be into them. But yeah, and the music in this game, I said Mario Galaxy is my favorite soundtrack, and it is my favorite soundtrack overall. But my favorite Mario songs ever are the Staff Roll from 64 and Bob on Battlefield. Those are my favorite Mario pieces of all time. I love them so much. And this game is my most played Mario game. I feel like it has to be. It's my most beaten Mario game. I have beaten this game countless times, at least like 30, 40 plus times. I play it twice a week. I play through it twice a week and get through it in about an hour and a half. That's with BLJs. But this game, it's a classic for a reason. I have it on my bucket list to one day buy an N64 and a copy of Mario 64 and play and beat the game legitimately on its original hardware. I hope to be able to do that someday, and I will, but probably not anytime soon. But Mario 64 is just, it's a classic game for a reason. I didn't grow up on it. I don't have the like childhood nostalgic connection to it that a lot of other people had. But when I actually got to play it for the first time when 3D All Stars came out, and now with the NSO version of it, which is the original version of it, which I kind of like better than the 3D All Stars version. As soon as I played it, it took me a little while to fall in love because the controls were a little bit jank and hard to get used to, and I was not very good at the game at first. But then when I first beat the game for the very first time, it had taken me forever to get up to that point to actually beat the game because I could not beat Bowser for some reason. That final Bowser fight. But as soon as I did it, it was like something clicked, and then I could just speed through the game super quick after that. It's like as soon as I was able to defeat the final Bowser fight, it's like I just completely unlocked being skilled at this game. But yeah, I love this game. It will always probably be my favorite Mario game and my favorite video game as a whole. I love it to pieces. I've played it so many times and I don't think I'm ever going to get sick of it. But but yeah, that's my Mario tier list. If I mean, I'm sure a lot of you can disagree with stuff, so if you want to uh let me know your opinions and what you think how to rank these games, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to see it down in the comments. And if I left out a Mario game that you think should be considered a mainline game, be sure to let me know that in the comments too. But for now, that's all I got. So thank you guys so much for watching, and be ready for my next video coming out really soon. Bye.